Raise a glass, let the worry slip away. Liquid lunch, we're living for today. There's Troy laughing with his gin and a grin, telling stories about where he's been. Boomer's got whiskey, he's loosening his tie, chasing dreams under a midday sky. The bartender knows us, he's mixing with flair. Every sip's a moment we're happy to share. Liquid lunch, pour it smooth, let it flow. Friends round the table where the good times grow. Raise a glass, let the worry slip away. Liquid lunch, we're living for today. The clock don't matter, we're lost in the vibe. Jazz in the air, feel the soul come alive. From martinis to bourbon, we're riding the wave. Stealing this hour, it's the freedom we crave. The sun's still shining, but we're in our zone. This bar's our shelter, our temporary home. One more round before the world calls us back. Savor the moment, keep the blues in the rack. We'll laugh and we'll toast till the afternoon fades. Memories made in these liquid escapades. Liquid lunch, pour it smooth, let it flow. Friends round the table where the good times grow. Raise a glass, let the worry slip away. Liquid lunch, we're living for today. So here's to the daylight, the drinks and the fun. Our liquid lunch, till the next one comes. With a wink and a smile, we'll be back real soon. Chasing that jazz under the high noon.
Vasalut and welcome. I am so thankful for all of you that are here, even if you cannot chat. Just found out from a comment on a previous stream that a channel member is unable to chat. She can't type comments into the chat. And it's not just on my channel, it's on all the YouTube channels. So if you are in a similar circumstance, please come back after the live stream and leave a comment. Let me know you were here. And I'm sorry, there's nothing I can do. It sounds like if she can't chat here on my channel, I would have thought, well, did I accidentally block her or hide her from the channel or something? Can happen. You hit a wrong button or whatever. But it's happening to her on all the channels, so it means it's probably something on her end. Definitely YouTube related. And I told her, you know, YouTube's a glitchy mess. I don't know what to tell you. So sorry. Of course, you can also comment over on the Green Machine. I am simulcasting over there as well. So that is a thought. But anyway, let's get into it for today, starting with Big Al of Big Al Presents, who says, Happy Thankful Thursday. Liquid Lunchers, have a great stream, Troy. Yep, I shared this out on Inspiration TV's proprietary social media outlet. Because I think a Thursday, Thankful Thursday, is inspirational. I believe it is. Anyway, Mehpoh, it is lunchtime. Thankful for friends, this channel, my wife, my home, etc. Yeah, how are your neighbors doing there, Mark, with that whole thing that was going on the other day over there. Just wanted to know. And Netters Network, hello, love of my life. So good to see you here, sweetie. I love you too. Connie Cleary, the bird woman of YouTube, Fluff Chick Productions, thank you so much. Netter says, like, share, subscribe, become a member, leave a comment, and if you are feeling so generous at this time of the year, the holiday season, perhaps gift a membership. Because for as little as $2 a month, you can become a member, and you can enjoy Monday night at the movies with the members, exclusive stream, where the members choose what movie we'll be watching every Monday. This week there is a poll up for just movies that the members suggested. So it's an eclectic group. We got Cocktail, Zombieland, Warcraft, and I threw in the sequel to the last movie that we watched, the sequel to Escape Room. So we got a couple of scary movies. We got a couple not so scary movies. If you are a member, you can choose. You can also help me get to my goal of 100 members by the end of the year and 2,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Now, the 2,000 subscribers, I've been having more trouble getting subscribers than I have getting members. So if people are here watching, they seem more likely to support and become a member. But getting them in here is the challenge. So I need you guys to share out the stream on all your social medias. Tag your friends. Directly message them and say, hey, I think you'd really like this show because I do. And because we tend to like the same things. That's kind of how friendship works, right? We tend to like a lot of the same things. So get them in here. Get me to 2,000 subscribers before the end of the year. That is very, very doable. And as far as the 100 members go, I'm pretty much at the point where if every single member was to gift one membership, I would hit my goal. Well, that's how you double your membership, right? Every one member, gift one membership, boom, you double your membership. So we can do this. We can make it happen. Something to be thankful for this holiday season. Hail all, smash the like button, and enjoy the show, says Jonathan Conroy. Thank you so much, my friend. And he says, good afternoon as well. Thank you so much. And during the opening song, Big Al said, start slinging those drinks, Moses. Those of you in the know why we call the bartender Moses. Let's see here. Don't give Troy any ideas. He might appear with a drink in one hand and the 10 Commandments in the other. Well, there you go. There you go. The 10 Commandments of mixology, perhaps. One person sadly passed away in that fire. I'm sorry to hear that. Something like that really makes one stop and think a lot. Also brought me back to the fire we had back in 2012. I remember that. That's how the House of Tokul began. The House of... let's see. I thought I had... No, I guess I don't. I had thought I had the Bartender's Bible here. I thought that would be funny, the whole Moses thing, but I don't. I have the Complete World Bartender Guide, which I question how complete it is. It is a fairly thick book, but I'm not sure how complete it actually is. But the Bartender's Bible would be one for me to get. I think that would go with the whole Moses concept, right? But let's go ahead and get to what we are thankful for. Now, I want to front load this with, ordinarily I don't get terribly political. I'm pretty open about my own personal beliefs and what I think. Totally cool with people that disagree with me as long as they do it respectfully and thoughtfully. If you're just mindlessly regurgitating things without using your brain, without thinking, I'm going to lose respect for you. But a lot of people right now, I think, are struggling and grousing with their local elections yesterday. And some very not very savory people are cheering and excited. These are the same people that cheered and were excited when certain political speakers were eliminated recently. These are villains. These are not good people. If you take joy in the death of people, or you advocate violence in order to bring about some sort of political upheaval in a country, that's evil. Those are the bad guys, right? That's Cobra from G.I. Joe. That is, the Emperor in Star Wars. Just saying. But there is a silver lining. We should always look on the positive, right? Always look on the bright side of life. Hollywood gloats over Zoran Mandami's victory as celebrities suddenly differ with even CNN. There is a huge split going on right now in the Democratic Party, and it's becoming the classical liberals and the true progressives versus socialists. I mean, that's basically what it comes down to. And we have railed against the mainstream media and their bias and, so on and so forth. But even the media is starting to, either they're moving more to the center, which is where they need to be if they want to keep their business viable, or maybe there really is a bit of a schism of opinion within media. This one comes to us from WD Pro himself over at that Park Place. Mandami's victory, making him the first Muslim and first South Asian mayor of New York City, sparked a wave of congratulatory posts from Hollywood actors, comedians, fashion world figures, and global film talent with ties to his family and his Queens roots. Let's be very clear. They just listed off a whole bunch of people that are predominantly Marxists. Those are socialists that they're talking about. Hollywood seemingly is ecstatic over the results of last night's non-midterm election results, even if the outcome was quite predictable. For Mandami, the win itself was called by multiple outlets late Tuesday into early Wednesday, with tallies showing a decisive margin over Andrew Cuomo and Curtis Sliwa. In other words, Mandami defeated the Grim Reaper of nursing homes and a strange man with a red Barrera? Barrera. Okay. Is that a word? I thought it was a beret, but okay. Yeah. Neither one of these guys ran a very good campaign, and they split the vote. If either one of them had dropped out, they would have given the voting public of New York a clear opposition to Mandami, but they didn't. They didn't. And I would say that both Democrats and Republicans need to start paying better attention to who they're supporting in their own primaries. If you just say, I mean, look, you could just look at the last presidential election. There was no midterm. There was no primary election. They just appointed the person that they decided was going to run, and people didn't vote for her. If people don't vote for somebody in a primary and choose them to be their candidate, they're not going to vote for them in the election. And in this case, a lot of people stayed home. If there is one thing you can say about New York, it's predictably blue. And although Mandami is a socialist, among other attributes, is but one of the many examples of the Democratic Party lurching leftward there were no true shockers in last night's blue state elections. Of course, that hasn't stopped strong reaction from both sides in Hollywood and beyond. Let's see. Well, let's just get to the commentary on this. New York media documented a steady drumbeat of celebs' support that flipped to celebrations once races were called. The Cut rounded up posts from Bowen Yang, Zoran T at the polls, Cynthia Nixon, Lupita Nyong'o, I'm going to butcher all of these names, Emily Ratajkowski, SNL Sarah Sherman, Harry Neff, and even Al Franken saying he voted for Mondami. Those same people became victory notes as returns came in. Patton Oswalt was perhaps one of the most worst offenders of human decency on the night, resharing a sentiment that hopes for the end of a famous Jewish attorney and pundit if Mondami won. Oswalt is a Marvel star and the voice of Max from The Secret Life of Pets. People, I'm telling you, if you are pro-death of anybody, you're a villain. You just are. You are an evil villain. And I don't want to hear anything else you have to say. Because Mondami is filmmaker Maria Nair's son. Congratulations poured in from the Indian and global film community overnight. Coverage highlighted messages from Zoe. Okay, a bunch of names I'm not going to be able to read. Sorry. And others framing and I don't know who they are anyway. Apparently they're famous to somebody. Framing the result as a cross-cultural milestone that resonated beyond the U.S. entertainment bubble. Not all celebrity talk was celebratory, however. Deborah Messing drew sharp criticism, but also praise. After sharing a meme about Mondami on Election Day, the uproar continued into the night as results posted, with entertainment press detailing the blowback and calling the share irresponsible. Of course, conservative and centrist commentators had opposing views. The moment underscored how polarizing the race had become in parts of media and celebrity discourse. Calling her sharing of a meme irresponsible, but nobody says boo to Patton Oswalt, who says he'd like somebody to die if someone else is elected. Just saying, that's not irresponsible? Tells you who these people are. Deborah Messing has posted 100 Instagram stories in the past 24 hours. She's calling it out. Deborah Messing, don't be mistaken. She is not some right-wing, whatever. She's definitely a lefty. But she knows what she's talking about in this case. Beyond Hollywood, national and international figures amplified the moment. Major outlets cataloged praise from leftist leaders abroad and pushback from conservative politicians in the U.S., reinforcing the symbolic stakes celebrities were reacting to. A youthful left populist mayor taking over America's largest city. In one of the most bizarre situations of the night, some commentators of both political persuasions were critical of Mondami's acceptance speech on CNN. This is where we get to the part that I'm thankful for. I'm like, really? CNN? A breath of reason for once. For New York's creative class, the mayor's race doubled as a referendum on affordability, arts access, and the day-to-day realities of the city's working talent. That's why so many performers and filmmakers posted actively during voting, and why their post-call reactions landed as more than generic congrats. With a platform centered on housing and cost of living relief, Mandami's win represents a civic story celebrities personally experience in New York. At the same time, a financial exodus could be forthcoming for the city as successful business people find greener taxation pastures. So what this is alluding to is, yes, there absolutely are financial problems. Socialism is not the answer to them. They will only make it worse. Because what's going to happen is when you want to live off of other people's taxes to alleviate the pressures for other people, those people will stop paying taxes because they will leave your state. It will absolutely happen. It is already happening. Insert Escape from New York meme here. Okay? And as they say, the problem with socialism is you eventually run out of other people's money. So things are going to get a whole lot worse for these very same people that are so happy about the outcome of this election. But they can take gratitude from the fact that all those horrible rich people will be leaving their state, and they will all be poor together in solidarity. The amazing thing about all of this from the entertainment standpoint, don't be shocked if Hollywood suddenly believes that last night is an indication they should entirely go back to the way they were making movies and streaming shows before 2024. In fact, be surprised if Hollywood sees it any other way. That's a bit daunting. But I have faith that the cracks in the veneer have been enough to embolden people like Deborah Messing and CNN and a lot of other people that are by no means righties to start saying, yeah, this isn't right versus left. This is everyone else versus socialism. We really need to get our heads together. So what am I getting at? Yeah, I'm thankful that some people are waking up and paying attention. Let's see. People that voted for that guy don't know the fire they are playing with. Look at the agenda on the DSA website. It's terrifying. They are not Democrats at all. It's a cover. It's not even a cover anymore. As you point out, the DSA website is very clear. They're open about it. They aren't hiding it. They aren't even hiding it. And what do you expect when you have a state-funded public school system? They are not going to push anything but make the state the boss, make the state mother and father. That's why we're churning out all these little socialists. Troy, they didn't appoint that person. They anointed her. Same difference. Welcome, Geek Flag with Nate Knows. Like, share, subscribe, and become a member. And if you are going to give a super chat of $5 or more, why not make that a membership to grow our community? Here's someone that I haven't seen in a minute or two. Me and my monkey slipping here into the chat. Sorry, it has been a while. Life has been happening every day. Yes, I know. This was something, today wasn't a Monday musing, so it was something I was musing about today. Realizing how much faster time seems to go as you get older. I'm serious. I mean, yesterday I blinked and, the day was over. I 1 minute I was doing liquid lunch, the next it's time for bed, and I'm like, what happened to the day? You wake up the next morning and it's almost Christmas time. Where did the year go? And the years are starting to snap by, gone. It's amazing. It is absolutely amazing. But we're thankful that you could be here with us today, me and my monkey. So glad you're here. See a lot over on Culture Casino's channel, where they were talking about exactly this today. I've been seeing online a lot of people voted for Mandami, not because they believed in him or his policies, because they knew it would drive their parents and conservative friends crazy. That's incredibly irresponsible. That is, I would say that's downright stupid. You know, that's literally cutting off your nose to spite your face. I mean that literally, because these same people are cutting off other body parts to spite their family and conservatives and whatever, and purposely doing bad things to their bodies. But figuratively, this is going to hurt them in the long run. Their parents will retire to Florida, as they were planning to anyway, and they will be left holding an empty sack in New York. It's a shame. The Big Apple is now the Red Apple. That's a good way to look at it, yeah. Let's see. And a lot of other people online are saying they couldn't even find the other candidates' ballots when they went to vote. Interesting. Also in New York, I'm not saying that this was planned or, you know, part of any particular goal, but I heard that a lot of polling places in conservative neighborhoods received bomb threats. That could just be a coincidence. Could be. And Joe's Atmosphere stops at politics and alcohol. Drive-by like and a share. Thank you so much. You say drive-by like and a share, but the fact is, you actively share my stream out every single time. That's not a drive-by. That is a commitment. And I super, super appreciate that, Joe's Atmosphere. And that's why I ask everyone to please make sure you are subscribed to Joe's Atmosphere, both here on YouTube and on X and all of his other platforms. We support those that support us, right? Together we grow. And speaking of growth, let's talk about what we got coming up this week. We'll get to another article on the other side of it. This is very short, less than 2 minutes, just to let you know what's coming up this week. Be right back. Got to fill my glass anyway.
Goodbye. Hope to see you.
Not goodbye. Sorry, I hit the wrong button. My apologies. Let's try that again. Take 2.
You are watching Liquid Lunch, streaming every weekday at noon Central, 1 p.m. Eastern. Let's sip together.
This week on Saturday Night at the Movies, Riggs and Murtaugh are on the trail of South African diplomats who are using their immunity to engage in criminal activities. Mel Gibson and Danny Glover are joined by Joe Pesci and the lovely Patsy Kensit in the buddy cop sequel Lethal Weapon 2. This week on Big Al Presents Films with Friends, Saturday at 9 Central, 10 Eastern.
In a world where nearly all the entertainment is remakes, reboots, and rehashes of older properties, maybe it's worth it to get some commentary from people who experienced it all when it was novel and fresh. Catch Boomer and Pacelli on Geeky Geezers every Sunday night at 8 Central, 9 Eastern.
This week on Last Call Presents, The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes, the King of Bohemia, asks Holmes to retrieve a compromising photograph from actress and singer Irene Adler, who proves to be a worthy opponent. It's A Scandal in Bohemia, this Tuesday night at 9 Central, 10 Eastern on Last Call Presents.
We now return to our liquid lunch.
I'm not going to bring up the comment, but I will respond to Nate. Yes, those AI, yes, they be crazy. And we need to make sure that Aged Boomer understands that, because he wants me to introduce me to Sophia, and it's like, no. No, just no. Let's get back to our next article. Again, I think a shift to a certain amount of reasonable sanity. So remember this girl, the first female action star, because there was never one before her. She's probably learned a few lessons. Last week she was saying that she regretted those comments. She realizes that she said a lot of stupid things in her time. And now I think she's further pulling back. Jennifer Lawrence says she's done attacking Trump, admits celebrity political activism doesn't change votes. You think? For all of us constantly saying that we want you to shut up and just do your job, they're starting to listen. Don't get me wrong. I mean, look past the RBF. She is a pretty girl. She really is. But hopefully she's starting to gain a little bit of wisdom here. In a surprising shift that stands out in an industry often defined by outspoken activism, Jennifer Lawrence has announced that she is stepping back from political commentary, specifically commentary about President Trump. The Hunger Games star, who spent years criticizing Trump and urging political engagement against him, now says she no longer believes celebrity rhetoric impacts elections and doesn't want to alienate moviegoers. Ya think, Denozo? No kidding. We've only been saying that all this time. Even George Clooney made this comment after the election, when he realized, despite all of Hollywood coming out in favor of the anointed one, Kamala Harris, who was appointed to her position without a primary. Remember, she was not chosen to be the candidate in the last election. She was appointed by the DNC. And all of Hollywood rallied behind her. And she still lost the popular vote. So no, Hollywood did not move the needle. And in fact, if you pay attention to ticket sales now, Hollywood is dying, because people do not care not only what Hollywood has to say about politics, they don't care about these people anymore. They have been so alienated by you taking your stance and being activists, they are looking elsewhere for their entertainment, and you will soon be out of work. If, as she says, she realizes she's alienating moviegoers. If she wants to have a career going forward, she needs to shut up and do her job. In a new interview for New York Times podcast, The Interview, Lawrence addressed her past high-profile remarks about President Trump and the polarized climate around celebrity politics. Her comments represent a major tonal departure from the peak of the 2016 to 2020 campaigns, where she made headlines for strongly opposing his administration. I don't really know if I should, she said when asked whether she would be as vocal about President Trump during his second term. Lawrence explained that the tone and pace of political disclosure during Trump's first term fueled her own urgency at the time. The first Trump administration was so wild, and just how can we let this stand? I felt like I was running around like a chicken with my head cut off. Yeah, that's what a lot of us thought of you too. But according to her, the last few election cycles revealed something Hollywood has rarely admitted publicly. As we've learned, election after election, celebrities do not make a difference whatsoever on who people vote for. Yeah, Because nobody is looking to you for your opinions on politics. They'll look to political pundits if they wish to. They will look to people they respect. You, they do not respect, Hollywood. I don't just mean this girl in particular. I mean all of Hollywood. For Lawrence, the conclusion is clear. Continuing to sound off offers little value and risks dividing audiences. Well, it's a little late for that, but I'm glad you see it. So then, what am I doing? I'm just sharing my opinion on something that's going to add fuel to a fire that's ripping the country apart. We are so divided. Ya think. Duh! We've only been telling you this for so long. Instead, she says her focus is shifting back to her work. No kidding! Wow! I want to protect my craft so that you can still get lost in what I'm doing, what I'm showing, she said. Which is what we've been saying all along. We are not going to movies for a message. We are not going to movies to be preached to. We want to forget all of that stuff. That's why we go to see your movies. And she wants to protect her craft because she knows it's being outsourced to AI. If I can't say something that's going to speak to some kind of peace or lowering the temperature of some sort or some sort of solution, I just don't want to be a part of the problem. I don't want to make the problem worse. Yes! Yes! They can be taught. They can learn. Yikes. Rebecca Romaine Stamos was... Never mind. When reflecting on her past political commentary, Lawrence added she probably regrets some of it. She also acknowledged that the second Trump presidency feels different than the first. We've all said that. Definitely some maturity has happened there. Because he said what he was going to do, she said, we knew what he did for 4 years. He was very clear, and that's what we chose. Yes, even if you voted against him, we as a country chose him. That's how these elections work. That's how democracy works. And don't start your bullshit about representative republic, not a democracy. It is a representative republic. Our representatives are chosen democratically. The two are not mutually exclusive. Understand what you're saying when you say that. Morons. Yes, even people that are on my side can be idiots. Because I'm intellectually honest enough to say it. A Hollywood shift or a lone admission? There's the question. She's not that bright. I can't believe she's alone in this. Lawrence's admission comes at a time when audience polarization and franchise fatigue have impacted Hollywood enthusiasm. While many actors continue to engage politically, her comments land in stark contrast to peers who remain consistently vocal in public discourse. Commentators such as Mark Ruffalo, Mark Hamill, and Pedro Pascal have maintained strong activist voices, frequently using social media platforms and public appearances to champion political causes and advocacy campaigns. And I would argue that all three of these guys are seeing their popularity dip and dip and dip. You can see it most clearly with Pedro Pascal. He has been memed into oblivion, where it's been made very clear that people are sick and tired of him being in every damn movie. And I think the final referendum on him is going to be the Mandalorian movie, which I'm predicting does not nearly as well as they need it to. But Mark Ruffalo, Mark Hamill, Luke Skywalker has been cucked away. So has the Hulk. And, you know, they've moved on from Mark Hamill for the Joker. So neither of those guys is seeing a whole lot of work anytime soon. unless they get their heads out of their collective asses. Or each other's, I suppose. Lawrence's comments suggest a growing recognition that audience trust and ticket sales rely on a broad, welcoming reach rather than a partisan messaging. Yes! Thank you! By signaling a desire to lower the temperature. How many times have we heard that? We've heard it from Disney, we've heard it from politicians, and they don't do it. Sounds like somebody is starting to, though. Rather than amplify division, Lawrence has tapped into a conversation many viewers have been having for years. Yes! Whether entertainment and activist messaging has become too intertwined. It absolutely has. Okay. When she loses the RFB, it's kind of a sweet-looking girl. If I didn't know anything about her, I'd say, I'd like to see one of her movies. Gonna have to earn back that trust, though, girl. She isn't renouncing her views. No one says she has to. She's acknowledging the cost of constantly sharing them. Good. And in an era where franchise box office performance and streaming success often hinge on winning over a wide audience, that calculus matters. Yes, that's how business works. I want your money. I want to be nice to you and not, insult you and drive you away. I mean, shocking, I know. Whether her pivot signals a broader shift in Hollywood remains to be seen. But for now, Jennifer Lawrence has made a clear statement. She wants audiences to lose themselves in her performance, not in her politics or opinions of Trump. And she's resetting her public voice accordingly. I'm telling you, there's a lot of celebrities that I greatly respect for their lack of communication of their political views. And one person that I respect a great deal is Miss Dolly Parton, who is seeing a great deal of success with her theme park, Dollywood, which is literally becoming a competitor to Disney World, believe it or not. Now, part of that has to do with centralized location, easy access, inexpensive facilities around the park that haven't been, prices haven't been driven up by over influx of vacationers thus far. But it's also she presents a park that is family friendly, which increasingly Disney is not, because they are still involved in their political messaging and their ideologies, if you understand what I'm meaning. The multicolored kind. And I'm not talking race, but that comes into it too. It is preposterous. You would never go to Dollywood and feel excluded. You would always feel included. And yet they aren't specifically going after certain groups with flags, so to speak, right? Let's get to what you guys are saying, because let's face it, you guys have better things to say than I do. Let's see. If I didn't say hi to Leia Plus Size earlier, good afternoon, Leia Plus Size. Thank you so much for being here. I will give Lawrence the benefit. Looks like she is seeing the light. Yeah. For someone who has been so tone deaf and said such uninformed, stupid things. I mean, first female action hero. That's a level of stupid I can't even comprehend. If she is capable of learning this lesson, I'd have to say there's hope for just about anybody. With the exception of people like Mark Hamill and Mark Ruffalo. I think there's something absolutely damaged in there that prevents them from learning, from reasoning. They're just broken people. Yes, a better late than never. Better late than never. That is absolutely true. Focus on work. Don't worry so much about Orange Man. Yes, because Orange Man is going to be gone in 3 years. He's going to be out of it. And unfortunately, you might be just as well as the AI push comes. Maybe you should be focusing more on that. I would like to see Disney do, with all the live action adaptations that they do, there was a cartoon that Disney did years ago. It was a short about the legend of John Henry. Now would be a perfect time to do a live action story of John Henry. They could get some messaging in there, if they wanted to, because it's kind of inherent in the story, but also get a little bit of messaging about people being automated out of their jobs. That seems pretty timely. Yes, she's growing up. That's absolutely true. The reason why celebrities don't make a difference because there's no more movie stars, and because of social media, we realize they're all dumbasses. Yes, I've heard it put a little bit different. It used to be that there was a great deal of mystique about celebrities. You didn't know about their personal lives. You didn't know any of the warts and blemishes of their backgrounds and so forth. They were what the studio put forth, what their publicists put forth. Everything was hidden, and all you had was this idealized idea of who they were. And so you did tend to thirst for information about them, and you never really got it, right? They never endorsed anybody. Elvis Presley has a great clip where someone asked him his opinion on something political, and he goes, I'm just a singer. Nobody cares about my political opinions." Yup. We are constitutional republic. That means that our Constitution is our prime directive. How that Constitution is put into effect is through a democratic process, aka democracy. You get it. Boom! You get the gold star for the day, Nate. This is absolutely true. When we say it's a representative republic, that means we don't elect a king, right? The president has limitations put on him. The judiciary has limitations put upon them, and the lawmakers have limitations put on them, because the supreme law of the land is the Constitution, and the enforcement of that is the three-ring circus that is the judiciary, the executive, and the legislative branches. They have co-equal powers and oversee each other. And if the president gets out of line, the judiciary and the legislature can bring him down a peg, and all the way around. That's kind of the way it goes. That document laid out the means by which that happens. That's why it is the law of the land. And when you say that you're progressive and you say that you're conservative, do you know what you really mean when you say that? It means different things to different people, but I'll tell you what it's supposed to mean. Conservatives conserve the weight and value of the Constitution above all in law. And progressives say, it's just a suggestion. We can change it as we want. It's a living, breathing document. It's kind of true, but the Constitution outlines what it takes to create an amendment. It requires a great deal of unity in the country to come together and decide to amend something in the Constitution. That ain't happening right now. We are way too divided for that to happen. But just consider that. There's a lot of you out there that are way more conservative than you even realize. I learned on Gutfeld that Teen Vogue is being shut down. Good. When Vogue gets shut down entirely, I'll be happy. Hollywood needs to understand, shut up, clown, and entertain us. Yes, and that's basically what she's kind of getting at. She understands that. It was less democratic when first designed. Now both houses in the legislature are democratically elected, and while the presidency is still elected via the Electoral College, it is more democratic than not. Yes, it is. Because here's the problem with to some degree the Electoral College, and a lot of these representative concepts, right? How well are these representatives really representing you, right? Are they representing you, or are they representing big pharmaceutical companies and big agricultural companies and big donors? Who are they really representing? Is this a representative republic when people are being represented based on how much money they give to a campaign? And you think that's better than democracy? Really? Think about it a little bit. But yes, a republic with a very strong democratic representation. That's right. I still prefer Sydney Sweeney to Jennifer Lawrence. Sydney Sweeney recently had a very similar comment out there. She a little soundbite I saw, interview where someone was trying to corner her regarding the whole good genes thing, and implying the whole white supremacist commentary on that and whatnot. And she said, when I want to talk about those kinds of things, I will. And refused to answer a question. I'm like, good. That girl is hella based. She is hella based. But I realized I was starting to say something and I didn't finish my thought. Dolly Parton, in an interview many years ago, I want to say it was back in the 70s, where someone kept trying to ask her a political question. She goes, I don't talk about my politics. I'm a singer and occasionally an actress, kinda, and that's what I'm here to talk about. That's all anyone wants to hear about from me. And they pushed her, and she says, I love you, but I ain't going to talk about that. That is not why I'm here. Thank you very much. She would not back down on that. That's true, Nate. But when you think about it, it's kind of sad. If the Constitution exists as the moral fabric of the country's soul, that piece of paper, that document, is our morality, that's pretty bad. Because it was written by people that understood morality. They didn't need to be told. They were spiritual men who believed spiritual things. And they knew right from wrong and good and evil. And now we live in such a morally relativistic society that doesn't believe those things, that believes that morality is subjective and not objective. You need a constitution of law to say, this is what it will be, regardless of what you believe. Anyway, that brings up something else to be thankful for today. The Constitution, right? We need to conserve it at all costs, or we lose our union. So again, so thankful for, am I thankful for the outcome of the election? No. Thankful I don't live in any of those states. I live in a pretty bad state. Let's be honest about that. Illinois is already screwed. A lot of other states have just decided they want to follow in California, New York, and Illinois' footsteps. And we live in an era of F around and find out. And New York is about to find out in a big way. big, big way. And Virginia, if you put somebody in charge of prosecution that thinks it's perfectly okay to wish death on your opponent's children, see what kind of justice you start seeing there in that state. Just saying. Just saying. So today I'm thankful I don't live in those states. I am. I'm thankful that even some of the farthest left people are starting to see reason and logic. I don't want them to be any more right. I don't want them to give up their liberal, progressive opinions. I want them to be a little bit more thoughtful. I want them to pay attention. That this isn't about their left versus right anymore. It's about something bigger. This is about their loss of support by their constituents, and possibly the loss of this nation. Anyway, that's a mixed bag today. It's not as uplifting as it could be, but it is finding the bright side when there's a lot to be down about. Tomorrow, of course, is Friday. Still don't know what I'll be sipping on, but we'll find out tomorrow at Liquid Lunch. We'll be talking about television, or at least memories of television. Television gone by on Last Call tomorrow. And tonight, I'm not sure what we'll be talking about on Netter's Network. We don't have a specific guest, but I hope you join us on Netter's Network at 9 Central, 10 Eastern, because Netter and I will be talking with all of you, if nothing else. So, guys, I want to thank you so much for hanging out and sharing your liquid lunch with me today. Whatever you drink, drink it responsibly, and I will see you on the next one. Take care, everyone. This time I really am going to say goodbye.
Goodbye. Hope to see you again real soon. So here's to the daylight, the drinks and the fun, our liquid lunch, till the next one comes. With a wink and a smile, we'll be back real soon, chasing that jazz under the high noon.